Sup.
Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, this is Mary, and we got some RPG horror stories for today. Mary, if I were to create a gang, would you join it?
What does the gang do?
Well, okay, so hear me out, and I promise you it's not something bad, but you have horns, right?
Yes.
I have horns. What if we were to, hypothetically, potentially, find other people with horns and create our own gang, and we call it the Horny Gang?
I'm calling my lawyer.
The silence is deafening. Anyway, I'm gonna workshop this a little bit more. Let's get some RPG horror stories for today. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, the DnD Cafe Saga. So, some context. I've been into D&D for years, listened to podcasts, watched tutorials, read articles, watched the movies which I liked, etc. But it wasn't a popular hobby in my home country, so never really had a chance to play it, as finding a party was next to impossible. But last year, I moved to London for studies and work, and since then I've been having a blast getting to interact with the far bigger and more active D&D community here. Overall, it's been a mostly fun experience to finally try the game I wanted and play for so long. On top of all the games like Call of Cthulhu and Daggerhard. Keyword, mostly. By the way, when I said ew, it's just to try to get a reaction out of Mary. It's fully to get a reaction out of Mary.
I was about to say, like, I was waiting for you to finish the paragraph. What do you mean ew to London? You don't want to move to the UK?
Because I just wanted to get a reaction out of you, that's all.
No, I see how it is. You just don't want to move over to see you.
I couldn't care less about London, okay? Other places, sure, but yes, we'll definitely talk about it more. See, alongside my regular party, there's also those D&D cafes around London where you can play one-shots for a price. It's a bit steep, about £15 per session. I've also been in 2 of them a fair number of times. One of them is in Holborn and not too far from the university campus. I heard some bad stuff about it, especially controversies surrounding the owners, but personally, I had an enjoyable experience there. DMs are good, atmosphere is friendly, and I never dealt with any problem players. A few annoying ones maybe, but never outright toxic. The same cannot be said for the second one. Anyways, first session, it's barely 2 weeks since I moved to London, and after a quick Google search, I learned that there's this venue not too far from where I live in Elephant and Castle, which has beginner-friendly introductory sessions. I wasn't confident enough to join a regular party yet, and I had next to no experience actual playing, so I thought that getting a proper introduction session with a one-shot to properly learn the ropes of D&D would be a good idea. So I booked for that evening and make my way there. Character creation is enjoyable enough. They gave me and other newbies a quick rundown on the lore of their homebrew world, give us the rules and guidelines, be respectful of other players and DMs, don't use slurs or other offensive language, the typical stuff. And finally, we get a rundown on making a D&D Beyond character. Since I'm new to this, I decided to make a simple one. Champion fighter who is a boisterous and deeply insecure knight and may or may not be inspired by another axe-wielding champion fighter dwarf man from NADPOD. What is NADPOD? I don't know what NADPOD is.
No
Do you know NADPOD? I kind of want to Google NADPOD. Oh, it's a dungeon. It's a D&D podcast.
Oh, that makes sense.
I see. Right. Oh yeah, they did mention they got influenced by like podcasts and stuff. I see. It makes sense. After all that, we begin the session. Basically, we've been sent by the Adventurers Guild to investigate a series of bizarre and unexplained disappearances in some village. We got it there by a young girl from said village who lost her mother, and for the first 20 minutes it goes well as me and the other adventurers banter and talk and joke around while the DM stays completely silent. Then we arrive to the village, and that's where the frickery begins. Not the good kind where we find monsters or whatever, but frickery. As in, it seems like our DM is determined to railroad us away from anything remotely interesting. We try to speak to anyone in the village for information or clues, and all we get are variations of "they avoid talking to you" or "they know nothing." Warlock tries to roll an Arcana check to sense if there's any magic influence, rolls an 18. The response? Just 3 words. "You feel nothing." Okay. Wizard tries detect magic. Still nothing, according to the DM. Young teenage bard PC tries to speak to other kids and their parents and successfully charms them. They seem to like you, but they know nothing or won't tell you. Anyway, the same laconic answers from the DM, and when Wizard PC asks above table what we should do, Then he goes, "You just gotta keep looking deeper into this." Mind you, that's exactly what we've been trying to do for an entire hour. At this point, we're more nearly halfway through the session. Normal sessions are 2.5 hours, so I'm getting a little frustrated because nothing has happened as we try to look for seemingly non-existent clues. Not helped by a DM that seems determined to give us no traits at all. This just sounds like really bad DMing of somebody that thinks there's some sort of giga answer out there, but truly there's literally nothing to find. You gotta give your players something, you know, anything, maybe cryptic, you know, like maybe as you talk to one of the peasants, they mention, "Oh yeah, things been going pretty well for a while. Not since the barn burned down. That was a travesty." You know, you gotta lead the players in some sort of narrative way. If they say nothing, or players can discern anything, how else are they gonna know what to do? You just railroading them into no progress, into no contest, into basically a stalemate. That doesn't sound fun for D&D. That's not fun to do. Don't do that to your players. Why do you hate your players so much to do that to them? Do you want to give them a fun adventure, or do you want to make it miserable? So after the break, we decided to just go speak with the town elder directly. We heard from the girl who guided us that the elder may be connected to whatever is causing the vanishings. Thus, our party cornered the man in his home and interrogated him. But that crotchety elder must have nerves of steel gifted by the gods, because nothing we did could make him talk. I rolled a nat 20 on intimidation roll, and the man, according to the DM, makes absolutely no change in his demeanor and just tells us to leave the town alone because we don't know what we're doing. Yeah, I agree, we don't know anything because again, we haven't been told or informed of anything. If a natural 20 literally doesn't budge anybody whatsoever and doesn't progress the story along, okay, I got a question actually. Something just hit my brain. Do you think maybe the players are supposed to be in a different village investigating and they just went to the wrong village?
I doubt it, because I feel like otherwise because the kid knows where to go, and I feel like the DM would have like hinted towards like, "Oh, you must have took a wrong turn," or "This is the village of this." Like, "Oh, I thought we were at the other place."
What if this is some sort of DM pulling out, "Gotcha, players, you went to the wrong village. You're supposed to go to the village next over, a mile down the road," or something? What if it's something like that? Some sort of like a, they think it's some sort of like a Shamalama Ding Dong twist. Yeah, I'm so smart and clever. You guys went to the wrong village. What should be something stupid like that? By that point, DM probably noticed that me and the other PCs had been getting frustrated and that the clock was ticking to finish the session. So the remaining 30 minutes take everything from 0 to 100 in an instant. Suddenly DM becomes more emotional than he has been all evening as he describes the sky going red, and we see a massive fire in the distance in a hill overseeing the village. The elder panics and runs to his hut while we run to the surface of the fire. Finally, we see something interesting. A massive wicker man burning the corpse inside. A circle of robed cultists that we recognize as some villagers. And standing in the center is the girl who reveals herself to be responsible for the town's vanishings. In a totally not rushed exposition dump, she, or the DM, explains that she is the fact a demon, who the village made a deal with the villagers to protect them from vampires. Vampires that were never mentioned before, by the way. In exchange for sacrifices, she had lured us into the village so that she could make a deal with us to expand her grasp across the land and beyond the village, offering protection from the vampires. Naturally, we say no. And you expect a fight, right? A big climactic battle to save the village? Nope. There's less than 10 minutes left for the session, so we gotta rush through everything. Demon girl leaves. Vampires enter village. Kill everyone. No indication or sign. We just come back to the village and everyone's dead. An elder tells us in his dying breath we should have left them alone before croaking. Session over. This sounds like a horrible session. Honestly.
Sounds like a really bad start to an anime.
$15 for that sounds absolutely dog shit. Sorry, there's no other way to use, like, I typically try to like avoid being so mean, but this is garbage. This is hot garbage. It's a steaming pile of garbage of a one-shot session. They don't let you interact with anything for 30 to 40 minutes to almost an hour. You get to do nothing at all except prancing about, hoping to find clues, finding little and nothing. Even when you're successful, you get nothing whatsoever. And then towards the last 30 minutes, you get railroaded into a bad end because what? You didn't ask the right questions or didn't second guess the right person, and the DM basically gives you nothing to work with. This sucks for first player experience. I'm sorry you went through that. And that last section seemed over real quick. Well, that was because that's exactly how quick it felt when the DM that spent 3/4 of the session messing around and railroading us to nowhere realized he had to end it. Needless to say, I'm left pretty annoyed. Felt like I lost 2.5 hours I'm never getting back. By then, plenty of people would have washed their hands of this place and never come back. But I heard the DM was still new. In fact, this was his second ever game he DM'd. So you know what? I'm willing to give this place a second chance. Because surely the others more experienced DMs in this place were better, right? The fact that you're already paying $15 for a session and they're giving you not an experienced DM that can give somebody a positive experience, but somebody that runs for the second time ever, I personally think this is honestly a very much a disservice for this shop. They did you dirty. They did you so dirty. You paying 15 pounds? You're paying 15 kilograms because, listen, pounds is an American weight, okay? You guys are using kilograms, so you paying 15 centimeters in order to play a game, and then suddenly you get shafted with a DM that has no idea what they're doing because they only have 2 sessions worth of experience. That's a horrible service. You literally got robbed. You got robbed from a decent experience. If this was a free game, I'll probably be like, okay, yeah, just a crapshoot, whatever, you know, maybe you'll get a better game. But the fact that you're paying 15 British galloliters in order to play this is absurd to me. Also, what's another word for pound? Is it francs? No, sterling?
I don't know. I usually just say pounds.
God, I wish you pound me.
Oh, well. I mean, you're still tired from the last time. Anyway.
I'm still what from last time?
Still sore from the last time.
I am sore from last time. I couldn't handle your pounding. The second one-shot I played in was somehow worse. Here I was, booking for another 15 pounds to enjoy an evening at this cafe. We're in a nice room styled after a tavern, giving it a pleasant atmosphere. One of the randoms I was with that night also played with me in the last game, so it was nice to have a familiar face. Plus the setup was much more interesting this time. We were hired by Secret Society of Sacred Protectors to find proof that a cult was hiding out in some music store downtown. We were to be discreet, to act unassuming, while I found the dark underbelly hiding beneath the shiny glamour of expensive instruments. Sounded like something that would be RP heavy, which I was happy for. RP between PCs being the one good thing from the first game. Probably also for the better, since the party was extremely imbalanced. One half of the team, including me, were level 1 or 2, and the other half were level 6. Thing about this cafe was that there were no level specific one-shots, so you could have parties with PCs of widely different power levels. But surely they care about balance to make sure everyone had fun, right? Foreshadowing is a literary device.
Also, it's quid.
Quid, right? It's not pounds, it's quid. God, I wish you would quid all over. I wish you would pound me so I could quid all over you.
I don't.
You think I will? I will, Mary. I will.
How dare you?
I will.
How dare you, coward.
Well, now let's go in the video. Anyways, much like before, the beginning went well enough. We entered the store. Me and the other level 1 would talk and fool the clerk while the level 6s tried to sneak in the back. It was cool to roleplay and we played well against one another, until one bad roll threw everything down the crapper. It happened almost instantly. Tried to roll deception on the clerk and failed. She rolls inside and gets a 17. In an instant, she pulls out a dagger and slits my throat before immediately attacking and knocking out the other level 1s. In a single turn. No warning, not even a chance to dodge or react. Just instant knockout as she dealt over 40 damage in a single attack. The whole plan falls apart as the level 6s have to come out of hiding to stop her from killing us. The following combat encounter had me and the other in the floor the whole time, in complete silence, while the DM seemed to have the time of his life role-playing and describing each attack. It's then I realized there was no balance whatsoever. The clerk was level 7 according to the DM, and level 6s don't even get to kill her because she throws a smoke bomb and just vanishes. Oh, amazing. OP, this is called one of those bad DM things where it's a DMPC, bestest ever, unkillable DMPC ever. Level 7 my ass with level 40 damage to level 1s. Why would you do that kind of thing? Why would you do that to players that are just trying to roleplay and try to play? First of all, the balancing of the levels clearly is awful, but this goes beyond, like, even if you guys were level 6, you still wouldn't help you. Getting dealt 40 damage without any sort of reaction or anything, wouldn't stage it whatsoever. Somebody would have been going down immediately from that one, or be almost nearly down. Like, this is just so the DM could be like, look at my cool DNPC, they're bestest ever, and they could do no wrong, and they could do 40 damage and take out 2 people at once. Ha 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 ha. This is just DMs flexing those stupid cringe DNPCs. That's all it is. The whole hook of this session, there'll be roleplay heavy. That was all about infiltration with some combat. Yeah, that was gone. No more sneaking or anything, just pure action the rest of the session. We went to the basement after we all healed and spent an hour running around random traps that made no sense, and the DM seemed to be pulling out his ass like even he hadn't fully prepared for this. And last half hour had us battling the cultists in the basement, consisting of a wizard and an eye protector on top of the cleric. Although battling was a generous term for me and the level 1s, because we were so weak we effectively couldn't do jack crap most of the fight. The enemies knocking us out in one hit, we try to hit them with no avail, making one of the most frustrating, boring fights I've ever played. It didn't help the DM was also being a smug-ass douche about it. He kept having the villains insult us and mock us as we try to fight, and it was specifically the level 1s. It didn't help that the witch had vicious mockery, so it often incapacitated or knocked out by said insults, which only made him even more smug. It came to a point where it felt less like role-playing and more like he was straight up bullying us. So much for the rule about no offensive language. Much like the first time, almost like poetry, the session ended anticlimactically. The cleric flees again, not before setting the whole place on fire, effectively destroying all evidence of the cult. The store is destroyed and we have to flee authorities. Once again, making all our efforts and pain in the session pointless. After that game, yeah, I told myself I was pretty much done with this place. Twice I've been there, and twice I've been left in the sour and disappointed. First session was boring, second was frustrating. I left this place and didn't come back for 4 months. Yes, this actually continues. There's actually a lot more to this. This is like an extra long story of this player just coming back because maybe they're a glutton for punishment, or maybe they just genuinely convinced by somebody at the store that like, no man, come back, we change it, it's better, I promise it's better. Viewers
at least
and
they're
readers,
trying.
I mean, trying is well and good, but this is like, it's like, let's say for example, you think like, oh man, I went to this place and I keep getting hit in the balls. Maybe if I try it again, maybe this time I won't get hit in the balls, and maybe it'll give me ice cream instead. No, you just constantly going through pain. You're gonna be going through ringer every time, because apparently this place does not quality control or curate their DMs. The first DM was just boring, didn't do anything. The second DM, so obsessed over winning, they couldn't even give you guys a single win whatsoever. You know, smug about it. I hate DMs that want to try to win D&D. This is a DM that's very confrontational and just wants to win D&D and wants their characters and NPCs and enemies to do well over the players. That's why they're relishing in the fact that they can be they give you guys mockery and stuff, and then the special super awesome NPC, of course they escape, because of course they do, because of course DM gotta win. They have the mentality of like DM versus players basically, and it's the worst. Anyway, let's see about the third game that happens. I bet you it's gonna be terrible. Spoilers, it is terrible. Now in hindsight, I really should have learned my lesson after that second game. I should have just cut my losses and left the place behind. By then, I was much more familiar with the TTRPG scene in London. I was going to that other DnD cafe I enjoy much more. I was joining clubs and public events, even joined a regular party of players that I grew close with and vibed with really well. By all accounts, I don't need to go back there. But you know what? I kept hearing from other people that the place wasn't so bad, that they had a good time there, they had fun. I kept hearing nothing but good things from other D&D players around me. So eventually, after months of avoiding the place, I go, you know what? Third time's the charm. Spoilers, it wasn't. It really wasn't. Session 3 managed to strike a near-perfect balance between my experience with the first and second game, being both boring and frustrating. Let me set the scene. DM for the session was apparently one of the main writers for this venue, responsible for writing and creating homebrew world we played in those games in. They also had a new major story event going on about the undead and the ruins of an ancient city. Sounds riveting, perhaps a setup for dungeons and exploration. Sessions seem to be set up this way. This time, my new character, a halfling barbarian that was a half-joke character after I got bored of my champion fighter, joined a group of fellow adventurers in trying to rescue a group of archaeologists that had become trapped in a cavern in that ruined city. We were to traverse through the ruins, hiding among us a huge bomb that we were supposed to blow up in the caverns to get to the trapped soul. Sounded cool. And yet again, it started promising. In this new party, including a necromancer who used her dead ex-husband as thralls, a goblin artificer who loved explosions, literally named Boom, all caps, and a comically serious turtle veteran barbarian that my newbie barbarian was really beginning to vibe with, amongst others. We entered the ruins, saw a heavy mist of death magic approaches. We thought we'd traverse through and fight undead along the way. Instead, the DM had a huge grin as he pulls out a custom figure the size of a forearm of some massive undead monstrosity, looked like a mech made of bone. Think of a mix of Lord Nito from Dark Souls and Cyborg Demon from Doom. It was, to their credit, a really badass, well-made figure. Shame it didn't make the fight any better. This massive beast turns out to be a boss. We get no chance to avoid or evade it, as we're all thrown into initiative. The fight goes on for the entire session. No roleplay, no exploration. We don't even get close to the archaeologist we were supposedly here to rescue. We spent the next 2 hours hitting that thing with all we had, even using the bombs we had on it to kill it. We barely even scratch it. Literally, it doesn't even get bloodied until session is nearly over. All the while, my character and fellow level 1s is utterly useless in the entire time. Okay, hold on 1 second. Why are they always starting you guys off at level 1? Do they not have like a specific setup of like, oh, I guess if you're gonna be like playing this one shot, let's bump you up to level 5 or 6 or 7. Why are they putting you at level 1s and throwing you against the most impossible of odds ever? These DMs, all of them sound absolutely crap, but also they have no idea what the hell balance is or how to write anything for level 1. If you're gonna write something for level 1, make it available for level 1 players to be able to do. Or hey, just level up a player if they're brand new, or make it a character so they can fit the actual combat in the session that's planned out. What is the point of creating a session where basically level 1s can just do nothing at all? It is dumb, dude. It's so dumb. Again, we are level 1. Here's my first session with that character, and this is apparently some all-powerful super boss with AC of 19, so we couldn't do crap to it. I spent the whole session just running away from it, which as a halfling with only 30 feet of movement is not easy. But it doesn't stop me from getting one-shotted twice. Finally, yet again, like poetry, DM realized we wasted time till the session was over and decided to rush things. So a dinosaur comes out of nowhere and battles the undead monster, giving us a window of escape. With all of us bloodied and bomb gone, we had to flee the ruins, basically leaving the archaeologist to die. Once again, our efforts are for naught. The real kicker, after the session ends, the writer admits that this guy was an event boss for the big story arc that I've prepared for this ruined city. We were the first party to have faced it. He said he wanted to have a big fight to introduce, and in-universe to have it spread around parties to hear the threat it posed. Essentially, he spent the entire session making us a sacrificial lamb to some plot I don't know or care about. So in my eyes, it just felt like I once again spent 2.5 hours of freaking nothing. The DM tells us we could have sneaked past it, but considering the map had no cover and things effectively just spawned in front of us, it felt like he either hadn't properly prepared for the session or he was lying through his teeth. Either way, I leave this place again feeling cheated, and I was almost ready to ask for a refund, but I guess I was too tired at that point, so I was just like, it's whatever, and left the cafe. And this time it'll be for good.
I understand his complaints, but like the first one was a new DM, so I guess he just didn't know how to. He didn't know he was supposed to help the party out. You know, like hint, like, oh, maybe this person knows, or maybe they could have made like little gestures to like they notice the villagers look scared when the girl's around. You know, something like that to make it seem like the girl is weird, and then they could have had a fight at the end or something. But they knew. That's understandable. The second one was just really unbalanced. If they had balance, they would have been fine. Same with the third one, balance. But it's also like, oh, I wanted to use you guys to show a cool thing that you won't be able to defeat, but other players will want to defeat in the future.
I don't know if I'm more okay, so I'm actually kind of frustrated with the story itself because it doesn't feel like I'm getting like a satisfying climax of like, DM did something absolutely crazy and insane. So I feel maybe a little bit cheated. Maybe I'm just used to these kind of stories. But also, I'm also genuinely frustrated with not only just the DMs, because clearly they're frustrating, but also the player. Like, you already had 2 bad experiences and you decided to come back because somebody else said it was good. I mean, on one hand, I can't fault you for it and stuff. I really cannot fault you. But I feel like you should have said something, man. I feel like you should have just brought it up to like the owner or the DMs afterwards and be like, hey, so I don't know if I think this could use a little bit more work, or at least, I don't know, if you don't want to complain directly to the DMs, could have complained to the store owner, like give them some sort of feedback. They must have some sort of like a feedback section or something. Bad DMing is bad DMing, but I feel like if you're going to be coming back to the place, so you want the place to improve in some capacity, maybe they could use some sort of a feedback a little bit on the side. I don't know, maybe just really bad luck and the player just got shafted into really bad games and stuff.
Yeah,
but like
I think they were just unlucky, and their like friends probably said it was good because they're probably higher levels or something.
Probably, yeah. And this player was new as well, so they probably got, you know, probably what ended up happening, they probably have like decent DMs, but they also have particular groups of higher levels that are playing with decent DMs. But this one is being put into like a random party, basically, right? People running just a random one shot, but have no experience or very little experience, not like as a fixed game or fixed party and stuff, right? They're coming in there paying money, which is unfortunate. Honestly, you really should not be paying this place any money. You really should ask for a refund, because paying 15 quid, paying 15 pounds, paying 15, what's another doubloons, British doubloons, is still just way too much. It's just way too much. It's just, the place is just sucking you dry of money for a terrible service. First game was absolutely boring because the DM couldn't interact whatsoever because they had no experience. Second DM was just had a very like DM versus player mentality and wanted to win DD no matter what. And then this last one just was like, I want to show off my cool monster, even though this is not balanced for level 1s or anything, but I still want to show off my cool monster so that hopefully you guys will give rumors and talk about in this game store about this monster appearing. Like whatever they're trying to run, I think would have worked out for a West Marches like private server instead of for whatever they're going on for that specific game there. Clearly they're trying, all these DMs have no idea what they're doing, or maybe they have partial idea what they're doing. It's just so frustrating. It's actually just genuinely frustrating. I feel a little bit blue-balled that we didn't get some sort of explosive ending, but at the end of the day, not every story is going to have explosive ending. Sometimes it's just a rant of a player that basically going through the motions of having 3 separate times be screwed over by 3 crappy DMs, one somehow worse than the next one over. Because sometimes games are like that, right? Sometimes games are going to be like that, and RPG horror stories are going to be like that. You don't know what you're going to get. As Tom Hanks, what was the character? Forrest Gump would say, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what sort of bad DM you're going to get, and they're going to force you to pay 15 shillings or pounds or quid or British doubloons in order they're going to pay you British doubloons like a pirate in order to get you to run into a really crappy game. Kind of sucks, man. I'm sorry to the OP, but also you probably should have just stopped coming in after second game. Like second game was just should have been enough.
Yeah, should have just left it.
Also,
but, I mean, they found like their own group. Like they were having fun. Like, you know, they didn't need to go back.
There was a little bit of a last paragraph here, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish it up because maybe there's a little bit more context here. Now I know this post is really long and ranty. I guess I just needed to vent about this crap for a while because those games at that place left a bitter taste in my mouth. Maybe if I hadn't spent 15 pounds on these sessions, I wouldn't have left me so pissed. But since I did, I can't shake the feeling that I've been cheated. These 3 sessions are only a small part of my experience with the community in London. Most of my one-shots I've had in other places were fun. My regular party are currently playing through Storm King's Thunder, and I've been loving it so far. I still play D&D, still enjoy it, interacting with the community. It's just now that I'm extra careful when DM says that they're new to this or like to mess with players. Because that apparently means I don't plan ahead or I'm a freaking sadist. I guess that's lesson learned from your experience from new player to that. Also, maybe just don't pay 15 pounds anymore to a paid DM. Go to places where they're vetted. Go to places that actually have like a good experience. And if you want to pay money to a DM, I don't know why you want, but if let's say for example, a DM provides actual good service, then feel free to do so. But never to this place. Never ever again to this place. Come in for the books, come in for the dice, whatever you decide to do, for the minifigurines, whatever, but not for the DMing services. Stay far away from this place, please. And with that, that's going to be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.